The Zones and Signature Buildings feature highlight got me really excited because it seems that they ramped up the complexity of the game quite a bit. Also, they mention in the video that Sims now hang out with friends in residential zones visiting each other, meaning no more optimization of public transport or other infrastructure to just get them into their jobs or into the shopping malls anymore. We will have to build real dynamic cities now if we want them to succeed. I am loving it. Hello peeps, Struggled here with a new in-depth summary of what to expect in Cities Skylines 2 regarding zones and the new unique buildings. Regarding zoning tools, we get the same as in the original Fill, Marquee and Paint tool. Dezoning in Cities Skylines 2 works entirely through the right mouse button. In Cities Skylines 2 we can zone different architectural styles, for example mix North American building styles with European buildings. But when you start a new game on a new map, you also have to decide your theme. This will then dictate the road signs, visual markings, roadside props, as well as the type of service vehicles in your city. Regarding zoning, we get 6 residential zoning types. Low density and high density are pretty much as in the original, but we get 4 more medium density housing options which are catered to either families or single household and also vary in regards of income, including a mixed use type with low density commercials at street level and lower rent affordable housing on top, because the commercial part of those buildings also pay a big share of the rent. This means we need to carefully provide the right housing to different income groups of citizens. Interesting here to mention as well is that many smaller household buildings can mitigate the rise of land value with lesser effect for each inhabitant in comparison to bigger apartment structures in which just a few parties split the rent between each other. Commercial zones stayed the same as we are used to. We have low density and high density zoning, though they work a little bit different in Cities Skylines 2. Low density is more like boutiques, gas stations, small corner stores or bars with just a few employees given the size of the building, whereas high density are rather supermarkets, department stores, but also theaters, hotels, which feature a higher density of employed workforce to run the business. This difference also applies to how many customers can be served simultaneously. Regarding industry, the article again mentions the effect of local consumption being prioritized over exports because of the related shipment costs. Up until now, the article does not clearly state how industry actually is going to work, but it will again feature extracted or imported materials which are then processed and or manufactured, or in some cases turned into a service, for example leisure commercial areas selling beverages. Given the wording though, I'm under the assumption that we will have to put a little bit more thought into how we want our industry to develop to keep it efficient. Also, industry from the start can also create warehouses to stockpile or supply other buildings in the area. I wonder how much control we get over these. Well, interesting changes to say at least. Now, offices. This is the biggest indicator that there are real changes compared to the original happening, as offices require products from industry to turn them into immaterial goods like software, telecommunication, financial or media products. Some of these products are then sold to citizens, others are only sold to other offices or also industry, so I feel like they really made up their mind on how to actually mimic real economics. Offices now come at low and high density options. Demand pretty much seems to work like in the old game, but takes into account the different preferences of income groups and also single person households compared to family households. Also, it seems like we are getting an info view overlay showing how well suited the area is for a selected zoning type. Also, open jobs in industry or office zones generate residential demand. Commercial demand depends more on the availability of goods and customers as well as workforce availability. Industry demand as well can be sparked by multiple factors, for example commercial zones requiring the goods, local availability of resources, or citizens which need jobs. Office demand is sparked by either a suited workforce or high demand of immaterial goods, as well as the local availability of manufactured goods to set up the infrastructure, and other offices which already provide necessary software. The article also mentions that the city overall benefits from already established zones of the same zoning type, which they call specialization. specialization. Meaning, if for example there is already a well-established manufacturing industry, then additional industry can benefit from it, making it easier to get more manufacturing industry because they share resources and thus are becoming more efficient working together, creating city-wide boni. Proximity seems to play a big role in this regard. Let's talk about land value. It spreads along roads but depends on service availability. But just plopping down service buildings is not gonna cut it anymore, because Cities Skylines 2 emphasizes more on the aspects of, are the needs of a zoning type met? Residential zones, for example, care about stores being available locally, or are shops close by or easy to reach, and so on. All these factors now determine land value, reflecting how important this location is to its inhabitants. High demand but low supply of a specific zone can also increase this zone's land value. Now, should citizens for whatever reason not be able or willing to pay the higher rent for high land value areas, they will move out, eventually resulting in abandonment, which then is going to attract homeless people and eventually cause the building to decay and collapse. Hopefully we can just rezone to trigger demolition and rebuilding with the new zoning type. Higher land value also makes buildings level up. They have 5 levels in Cities Skylines 2, and the higher level buildings also consume less electricity and water and generate less garbage. Let's also cover the signature buildings. Those are pretty much unique buildings which are not parks but are the same type as the zoning type, and they all have their unlocking conditions. These buildings are providing unique boni either in a given radius or city-wide or even both. And they are for free, no cost involved. That's it, thanks for watching, see you next time, bye!